Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your July reading. This is going to be a general spread, but before I get into it, quick message. I am here in Mexico working with the most kind-hearted, phenomenal people. Anytime, regularly in the year, I've been here before, they are always offering free programs to disadvantaged children, children with no income. Their kind of slogan is to sports is your gang, and they are just a really wonderful group of people that have a gym that is very hanging on. So I wanted to set up a kind of GoFundMe if anybody felt drawn to drop $1 or $2. We're at the point it's beyond kind of saving businesses down here in Mexico. A lot of things are boarded up and closed. It's more, getting food in bellies. So if you feel drawn to donate, I know one of the kids made the Mexican Olympic team, basically works for, exchange for the food to stay, to train. It's people like this. I know from my experience, athletics really got me very far in life, and I have such a great gratitude for coaches, the people that mentor us and, give selflessly, and to make sure they get to the next step. If you check out the GoFundMe and you feel drawn to send some good karma points their way, not taking a dime of it. I'll also leave my Venmo because I do know, I think GoFundMe takes like 2%. Anyways, whatever. I just think it's important to make sure these people make it to the other side and they're able to continue to do what they do. So that's my quick spiel. If you feel drawn to, I will be most happy. Anyways. So let's get into your reading. This is kind of a little bit stereotypically Sagittarius, if I'm quite honest. Looking at this card, the very first card I pulled was Think Global. So some of you might be having ants in your pants, getting ready to go. Excuse me. And it says you're being encouraged to spread your wings, think outside the square, you're a citizen of the world, expand your vision, imagine the world within your heart, embrace it, surround it with love, let it be, and so it will be. This doesn't have to talk about physically changing locations, but to me this is about expansion, about the wheels of change are here and are ready for you to kind of go to the next step. So if you've been feeling a little bit stuck, well, come to Mexico. It's open, especially if you're in the U.S. They definitely need, tourist dollars. But on a serious note, though, I'm seeing there's a significant, I feel like it's in regards to money, so I don't know if you're looking for jobs elsewhere from where you are, or you are thinking about new ways to create the life you want, where you can then, have that ability, that mobility. And I'm also kind of feeling, this might be one or two of you, but I'm like working for home might extend, and it might be this ability to work remotely. I'm showing it, and I'm showing actually you're working hard to maintain this. Because, it's interesting, I'm not seeing any financial instability. To me, that's showing up in the past. So if you're still experiencing it now, I feel like that's going to be not the case moving into, we're at an eclipse even tonight as I film this. I always feel those are markers. This is the 3rd of the year, right? So this is, I feel like this is the 4th, the 3rd. Anyways, somebody will correct me. To me, this feels like, because the next one is not until November, this feels like there's something here between now and November where I feel like it's kind of decision. I don't want to say make or break, but I feel like there's a lot of power in this period, this window of time. 2021 not to project too far forward, but I feel this is a pivotal year where your intentions right now set the stage. So I want to say keep your karma clean, really clean. And I'm saying this too, the context of what I'm thinking is important. So I want to say the fact that Mars is in Aries, this god of war and the planet of war, these two energies kind of combined, it's kind of, there's an inevitability, there's that war within you going to want to come out, and you see it. I mean, in the U.S., you see it play out in the political scale, in the social justice scale. It's everywhere. It's permeating everything. If you feel it within yourself, I feel like the best thing you can do, think of the Schumann resonance, right? To create that peace. I feel like, for some reason with you, because I'm getting this fiery energy, and I'm seeing it here, I'm seeing it in a few places in this reading. It's not negative, but I feel like there are these cards that say, if you are grounded, if you speak your truth in a way that actually does something, like, for example, if you want to stay home, and you express this, and people are coming back to work and you don't want to. I mean, this is a very kind of small example. I feel like ask. This could actually change your life. It's something small like this, where it's like, nope, I want that. And because you say it, the wheels of change are in motion. I mean, you have some really positive cards. But it's like, ask for what you want. Ask for it. I do feel there's a financial change coming. I don't feel like you're in a bad place, but I feel like the struggles of the past are gone, and I feel like there's more coming. But I just feel like, again, I'm being drawn to this window between like now and not quite the end of the year, but December, right? Where it feels like the scale of the change of what your life looked like to where your life is going. I mean, looking at this, to me, this feels very unexpected, and it feels very good. So I want to say, be open to massive blessings, actually, especially with, gosh, the Sun card here as well in your higher self, your subconscious. This is freedom, liberation. But I feel on some level I can't help but want to say money-wise. So I don't know if some of you guys are investors or in the stocks. I'm being drawn to talk about that. I mean, usually people come to these readings for love. So I usually steer away from it. It's very rare I get a personal reading and somebody asks me about stocks, but I'm happy to talk about them because it's coming up. So I don't know if this is like, get on your investment game, learn about it if you have time, because I do feel like that's going to be very important moving forward. Okay, so I'm getting a few messages. It's interesting because this came up in another reading, but the messages were different, so interesting. I'm being drawn away from big box type companies. So if you're specifically investing in stocks, I feel the riskier ones are flip-flopping. So the things that were stable for a long time, and they're giving me like cookie cutter companies like Amazon, Coca-Cola, like, the things that immediately pop up when you open a brokerage account. These are the stocks that, you should invest in. I'm getting the messages, there's flip-flopping. So the things that were safe are no longer safe. And I'm being drawn to say the more like commodity type stuff. Sorry if none of you want to hear this. It's just coming through. Because I do feel like your financial security opens up something for your to me, think global, the exploratory energy that wants to kind of come through. And I feel like next year, there's something I think that drives you to be really free. Free is the word that I get. It's like I need a year off, even though this has kind of been one of those, maybe you haven't had a year off. Maybe you've been extra busy. Going back, okay, so it's bringing me right back. Sorry, I lost my trail of thought here. So I was talking about physical things, gold, silver. I don't know if you have ethical, like oil, gas, the American I'm hearing. Last year I was predicting American specifically. Pharmaceuticals, I wouldn't go there right now. I wouldn't say that. I think that has kind of passed. But I do feel it's interesting. We're kind of going in this interesting connection. It's actually kind of very connected to source and to earth. So the things that are going to kind of take off are like the technology. I feel like the advancements in health, but it feels like it's more, the word is out there. So the big dreamers, I feel like these are the people you're going to want to invest in. I don't necessarily want to say Tesla. I mean, if you were investing in March, heck yes, but I think that has kind of sailed past. But it's like these innovators, I feel like they're going to come and they're going to pop up more and more. So yes, going back to that, the land specifically, very, very, I think people are going to reinvest heavily. Everybody's going to want to have their own piece. I feel like it's going to be important. So if you're a realtor and you're worried about things falling apart, don't be worried. I feel like this is going to be something we move through. There might be a little blip, but I feel like this recovers fast, if that's something that you worry about. Anyways, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole too long. So let's talk about some of your more shamanic cards that came out. It's talking about having an aha moment where something switches, and I don't know if it's just this year in general, or it's something that it comes in and it's an opportunity, it's a wave of inspiration, and it's bringing you. To me, first of all, it's an immediate yes. This can be. I'm not getting a lot of partnership cards for you. I feel like if you are in a partnership, watch your words. If you really need to get into an argument, think it over a few times, because remember this, Mars in Aries energy. Is it important? Does it help? Can I address this in a peaceful way? This new opportunity that's coming in. Some of you it's going to be a job, some of you it's going to be love. It's something you've been praying for that adds this feeling of freedom, like I can do more. I don't know how to describe it. It's interesting. It's like liberation. It's like a coverall feeling I'm getting, because I feel like there's an immediate sigh of relief. And then it brings inner peace. It's so interesting. I feel a lot of you, maybe it's not right now, but I feel like a lot of you are kind of going back to, I don't know if it's religion or faith or some sort of, it feels like faith. If some of you need to make apologies, do it now. Again, I'm feeling this wipe the karma slate clean, because you do have this blessing coming in. It can be bigger. And I'm not saying do it because of this, but do it for yourself. If there are any people that deserve I'm sorry, release them. Release yourself. I feel even just writing a 3 line note to somebody, never, just sending it off. There's a lot of power in this period of time for you, because I feel, I never really subscribed to this, but a lot of people, I didn't not subscribe, but I never took the time to kind of understand what they were talking about. I kind of, within the spiritual world, you hear a lot of things, and some things I just find don't come out of my mouth a lot. And one of them was the 3D to the 7D to the 5D, and I never knew which was on different levels. I just kind of knew I was doing my best. But as of lately, I've heard some people kind of break it down and describe it for me in kind of a digestible way. And it resonated for me because I do feel a lot of us have this ability to kind of jump right now. So if we've been in the 3D, right, the things that are tangible, the way we look, the things we have, measuring our worth, very basic, and we want to kind of jump because we've been here a long time. Imagine the amount of time you have to jump with just a decision. Right? I believe that we get tested in the small things, the mundane things every day that shape us, that let us know who we are. Ooh, I just got a weird analogy. So my path, something that has taught me a lot, because I always believe that in order to understand the light, you need to understand the dark. And I understand this a lot with shamanism, but it didn't really click with me until I realized, and this was a secret I didn't know, my grandfather was a 33rd degree Mason until I cleaned out his house. And I got really deep into what this was all about. Anyways, I came across where, there's this part where they do a lot of good things, and then there's this other part where you can go a different way. And, it's kind of become kind of mainstream knowledge these days, where a lot of former members will talk about it. So it's accessible information. It's not so secret. But there comes a point where in kind of initiation to a certain level, you can, they say, kind of drop the Bible and step on it. And in that split second, you decide which path you're on. And it's kind of like the spiritual path. I mean, I see this a lot in shamanism as well. A lot of men or women, they're mostly men in that world, they yield a lot of power, and I see a lot of them, either you slip into wanting too much money, or you slip into doing it for the money. It's typically money, but power as well. It's this weird, it's a trickster. Spirit is a trickster, good and bad. The challenge right now is to stay in that loving light energy. And I feel for you that message is very strong, because you have the potential. It's like, if you pass this grade, you pass this test, you pass this chapter of your life, I mean, this is what's on the horizon. It's telling me you've been struggling for some time. You're ready to let it go. You're ready for life to flow. So interesting. I was talking to one of the kid that made the Mexican Olympic team, and I said, "When are you going back to Mexico City? Do you have a date yet?" And I was kind of fishing around to see how much time he had, to see if I could help get him to stay, because I know he loves it there. He's great at what he does. He's like, how do you say it? Because he doesn't speak English. How do you say going with the, it's like, going with the flow, living in the moment? He's like, yeah, I'm here today. I'm happy. I'm so grateful. We'll see about tomorrow. He's so much younger than me, just a child. So much wisdom, right? This is kind of what I'm feeling for you guys, this energy of how can I change today? Because as I move to the next deck, because I pulled a lot of cards for you, the first card that came out says, what's one thing you will commit to doing about it today? It's one small step of just it's kind of like turning that wheel in the right direction. The energetic polarity, oh, there it is. What's one thing you can do to go in that direction? Oh, quick shout out to my friend. She made these beautiful cards. They're called compass cards. They're like life coaching, self-help type cards. I mean, they're really fun. So I'll leave a link to those below. And the next card you have, though, it says, who do you want to be? How do you really want to feel? Imagine yourself in a tree looking down at the situation. What do you notice? This is about your life. You need to be your biggest supporter, cheerleader. What's that quote? You change yourself, you change the world. Who says that? Did I just say it? Let me read some other cards I pulled for you. So this one is Star Brothers, Aurus Energy, Protection, Loyalty, Safety, and Trust. Oh, that's a pretty card. Yes. It says, you're more protected than you can imagine. It's safe to open the back of your heart. You're being called to be open to receiving a new level of support now from those in your life and from the benevolent beings you're connected with. Through ancestral patterning, current life traumas, and past life karmic impressions, many of us have become mistrustful and suspicious of loyalty and have blocks when it comes to receiving support. We've learned that we need to go at life alone, that it's not safe to let our guard down and open our heart, that the world isn't a friendly place. The Star Brothers want you to have a new experience of life on Earth. They want you to feel deeply secure and safe, even if you're going through a difficult time. They want you to hand over your fears to them, to see them as opportunities to let in more love. They're guiding you to stay open to receiving a greater level of support than you can ever imagine, both in this world and beyond, to call in your team of loyal protectors and supporters, both physically and energetically. They want you to learn to soften through life's ups and downs and to learn to open your heart, especially when it most wants to harden. How can you open yourself up to receiving more support? Okay, one more. Trust your path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? See a lot of these cards about support, and it's interesting. I've been getting a lot of dreams, and I shared this with somebody that sent me a message on Instagram. Maybe you're watching. It's this vision. It was, how do I describe it? It was just above the cloud line, and I could just see, it was almost like a blanket of angel wings, our guides, benevolent spirits looking down at this exact moment in time, and I continue to see it. And even as I'm saying it now, I'm hearing yes. It's almost like a halo of protection. Remember, you're not in this alone. And remember to give as well. Give support that you might want to receive. Let me read this though. It says, the universe is conspiring. Keep facing your true north. Your job is to pave the path. Your job is not to pave the path, but to simply keep facing your true north and take one step after another. If you do this, you can't go wrong. The universe is conspiring. Don't waver, doubt. Use your heart as a compass and put the one foot in front of the other. If you follow the invisible trail of what lights you up, you will light up the world without even trying. Yeah, that's this. following this, what lights you up, that internal, immediate, yes, I want to do that. It's time to live. It's time to plan the next step in what your life wants to be, and you know it. Most people don't follow the highest call of their soul because they're waiting to see the end destination before they take the first step. If you take one baby step each day, within a year you will have taken 365 steps in your dedicated direction. Yeah, those microscopic tests that say, I align with this and not with that. The same thing goes with arguing with a random person on Facebook or Twitter, because let's face it, there's a lot to argue about these days. Just turn it off and go in that direction. If you want to write a book, write a page every day. If you want to change careers, do one thing every day in dedication to that. Before you know it, just a year from now, you will turn back and look in awe at how far you have journeyed. Keep moving and open yourself up to a whole new level of support and receiving. Things are not going to work out the way you are planning, but if you have a little faith and keep showing up, they will work out even better than you can possibly imagine. Don't micromanage the universe. Trust your path. Let your soul lead the way. If you knew what you would do, if you knew you would be supported no matter what would you do? Yeah, what would you do? Do you know? I used to run a shamanic retreat in Ecuador where we served ayahuasca in San Pedro, and we'd get a group of 30 people from around the world. And one of our first kind of meetings, we'd ask, kind of some personal questions, or that could go in a personal way, and you kind of see who opens up. And one of them was always, what would you do if money were no option? If you had billion, trillion dollars, what would you do? A lot of the time it was crickets. I don't want that type of responsibility. I don't know. It's too much. Give it to me, universe. I will make the best life out of distributing it and getting it into the right hands. I will take responsibility for that, right? I will direct that, because what a joy it is to give. It's the best gift ever to be able to do that. The first thing you need to do is to empower yourself into a place where you understand the law of attraction. You understand how to think global. You heal yourself, you heal the world. You first, and things open up for you. This is what your messages are. Looking down at yourself from heaven, what would you say to yourself? What would you say to your higher self? Go for it. Do it. This is almost like guaranteed support right now. So I just kind of want to hand you the responsibility and the excitement, because I do feel like we're stepping into an entirely different world, entirely different consciousness. And maybe you're going from 3D to 7D. Still don't know exactly what that means. Maybe somebody can explain it to me in the comments. Anyways, thank you, Sagittarius. I know it's been a while since I've been here. I will be back more often. I'm not offering personal readings right now, just focusing on YouTube. So I hope to see you guys again soon. And again, if you want, or if you're able to, $1, $5, I would be so happy to be able to share that with people that are doing excellent things here in Mexico. And I think it all starts with our children. So anyways, with that, thank you, Sagittarius. I will be back soon with more. Bye, guys.